Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're looking at a classic from Longines with the Legend Diver, this one in bronze. So in this video and on this channel, we cover watches available for purchase on our website, TeddyBaldassarre.com. So in this video, deep dive review on this timepiece, final points of consideration at the end. At any point throughout this video though, you have any further questions, check out the link in the description where you can learn more, purchase the watch, as well as book a time with one of our watch specialists as well. But guys, let's jump into the video, take a closer look at this watch. It's been no secret that the watch consumer market has had a healthy appetite for both truly vintage watches as well as vintage reissues, especially in the last decade. When Longines introduced their Legend Diver in 2007, it was a modern interpretation of their classic reference 7042. What made this particular diver stand out from the other reissues that were flooding the market during this time and what would come afterwards was that it was a super compressor case style, had solid specs, and its reasonable price point given the global position of Longines. The collection has grown into a handful of models, different case sizes, the original 42mm option. You also have a smaller 36mm version with different dial options to choose from as well. But one of the most recent additions to the Legend Diver collection is the piece that we're going to be looking at here today, the Legend Diver Bronze. So let's take a closer look. Taking a look at the Legend Diver Bronze on the wrist, it measures at 42mm across the case with a lug-to-lug distance of a lengthy 52.3mm and a case height of 12.7mm. Longines has fitted this case with a substantial box sapphire crystal that takes up roughly 1/4 to 1/3 of the entire case height. There is a bit to unpack here when it comes to the case dimensions and how it wears on the wrist. Now, first of all, I think the main point that people are going to look at here is going to be the lug-to-lug dimension. This is going to wear pretty true to that 42mm size, if not a little bit larger when you're talking about top to bottom. The central case isn't going to be abnormally large, given that it is all going to sit within that super compressor style, no external bezel, but it is safe to say that this is going to be best suited for a medium to larger size wrist, considering that lug-to-lug dimension. Longines does make an alternative 36mm case variant of the Legend Diver that's going to wear much smaller for those wrists out there, but today, again, we're going to focus on the larger case only. Like other heritage models we've seen from Longines, the drilled interior lug holes for the strap are positioned towards the end of the bottom of the lugs, which allows the strap to keep the watch planted in the center of your wrist for comfort. The Legend Diver utilizes a super compressor case in which two screw-down crowns are located on the left side at approximately the 2 and 4 o'clock positions. The crowns are identical with easy-to-grip grooves along the sides and a knurling pattern applied to the top of each. The top crown unscrews and adjusts the internal rotating bezel with a smooth action for precision with setting. To operate this feature, unscrew the crown until it pops into the position and then rotate the crown in either direction to line up the bezel as needed. Now, this was used in super compressor cases back in the day when bezels were going to really be crucial for timing dives, elapsed time underwater before the dawn of diving computers. This crown system for setting was also preferred, or at least used quite a bit, as the risk for an external rotating bezel being knocked off from the appropriate time could be a huge life or death type of scenario back in the day. For the lower screw down crown, it operates the movement in typical fashion. Unscrew it from the recessed case position, and in that first position, you can hand wind the movement, extend the crown to the other position, and then you can adjust the time while hacking the second hand in the process, so stopping that seconds there. Another point of note is there's only going to be 2 crown positions, given that there is no date on this watch. Now, the purists that love the original are going to probably also love this. This offers a great level of symmetry on the dial, as well as being one of the only Legend Divers that's going to utilize a no date option. When both crowns are screwed down, you get 300 meters of water resistance, a healthy number for any commercial dive watch. The case here, as mentioned, is going to be constructed from bronze, which in this application has a rose gold tone to it, and it's going to come in a uniform brush finish, maximizing the best qualities of bronze that sometimes polishing is just not able to quite achieve. The way the light dissipates from the brush finish is soft and luxurious, and is very reminiscent of how the light plays with a brushed gold surface. Of course, the signature attribute of bronze and what makes it the most appealing to buyers is the way it's going to patina over time. There are a lot of things that goes into how bronze are going to patina. A lot of it's going to come down to how you're going to actually wear the watch, what it's coming into contact with, like salt water or things of that sort, and just the breakdown of the compound of the alloy of bronze that's going to be used. The finishing and general case design is going to be simple in its execution, but very well done. There is no chamfering or contrast polished finishes anywhere on the case, but you can see those brush lines across the lugs and other parts of the case elements that really do allow this one to pop a bit more. As with a lot of the heritage models we see from Longines, the simplicity of the finishing and case design language benefits the overall appeal of their pieces. On this particular model, we have a really nice soft chocolate brown leather strap with a black underside. It runs 22 millimeters at the lugs and tapers down to 20 millimeters at the bronze buckle that's also signed. The buckle is a little bit more angular with harder transitions between the surfaces compared to the rest of the case. On the front of the buckle, you have some knurling pattern that you will find on the top of the crown, which is a nice kind of tie-in here. And to top it all off, there's a Longines wing hourglass etched into the center of the buckle. Moving back over to the front of the watch, we have that large box sapphire crystal with several layers of anti-reflective coating that work incredibly well in allowing a great view of this dial. There's a nice level of sophistication to this dial, starting with that rotating inner bezel, which is a glossy black and has a printed on scale with numerals at the 3 of the 4 quarter hours. At the 12 o'clock quarter hour position is a classic lume triangle used to set the bezel to time dives and will help with orientation in the dark with resting positions. The intermediary hours are indicated by long pencil style hashes. Longines went with a glossy vintage yellow paint throughout the dial and is particularly pronounced here along the rotating bezel. Stepping down a level and inward onto the actual dial, we have a similar design concept as the rotating bezel. The outside edge features a minute track with Arabic numerals at all 4 of the quarter hours, with this time with large hashes filling the remaining hours. Here we also find small superluminova plots applied within those long hour hash marks and closer towards the outside edge of the dial. Those lume plots are in the opposite orientation compared to the quarter hour markers, which have rectangular plots applied to the dial just inside of the Arabic numerals. This bronze variant features a gradient matte green dial, which is nearly black close along the edge, and as you move further inward towards the hands, the dial becomes a deep forest green, coming with this very glossy tone in the process. Although it's a bit dark, the green does really complement both the gold tone of the case and the vintage yellow faux dial paint. The center of the dial is generally pretty simple, with a Longines logo printed below the 12 o'clock marker and the word automatic printed above the 6 o'clock marker in a cursive font. At the center, we have an arrow hour hand and a pencil minute hand paired with a simple stick sweep second hand. The finishing is interesting as Longines has gone with a frosted finish to these parts that really pop off that green background. More superluminova is fitted in both the hands to aid with low light legibility, and the materials used across the dial, hands, and bezel here are all quite good. In complete darkness though, it does take a moment to adjust to the arrangement of the dial plots because there are different positions along the dial, but once you have that all visually sorted out, it is pretty easy to read the time. I will say that the lume here is not going to be quite on the level of some of the competition that are going to lean more into modern types of style. That's sometimes a challenge that I've noticed with brands that opt for this faux lume type of look. The illumination in the dark is not going to be quite to the same level as some other competitors. But simply put, this is the familiar Legend Diver style and design without the date, and this green really does pop with the choice of bronze with the case material. Now turning this watch over, we have a protruding solid case back which screws into the bronze case, helping the Legend Diver achieve 300 meters of water resistance. This is going to come in stainless steel as seen on many bronze watches out there, as with that direct contact with the skin time and time again, it could create some discomfort with the material of bronze, so this is something that many brands will opt for. An image of a diver checking his watch is embossed in the center of the case back with some reference text surrounding it. The case back covers up the very good automatic L888 powering the Legend Diver within. This is one of, if not the go-to movement for Longines in their catalog. It operates at an unconventional beat frequency of 25,200 vibrations per hour or 3.5 hertz, a beat frequency that's mostly going to be synonymous with the coaxial escapement, but it's going to offer 3 full days with its lengthy power reserve. The L888 is based on the ETA 2892A2, reworked for Longines in a couple different variations. Now overall, this is an excellent Swiss-made movement that is reliable and accurate. We've tested a few of these different calibers in-house in different models, and they all tend to perform within single digits of daily deviations. This is of course anecdotal evidence, but just want to offer some context that Longines is doing a very nice job with these movements movements. The other upside with this, just with that drop in beat frequency, is going to allow you to have the maximization of that power reserve in the mainspring while also getting that clean sweep that will come with closer to a 4 Hertz movement. Many of the other counterparts within the swatch group are opting for 3 Hertz. Meeting in the middle between a 3 Hertz and a 4 Hertz movement gives you the appeal of a 4 Hertz movement with the more maximized length of that power reserve by taking that stored energy from the mainspring. This movement operates again at 25,200 vibrations per hour, 3.5 Hertz, does feature hacking and hand winding, hacking stopping the second hand when you pull the crown to the farthest position, and has a power reserve of approximately 72 hours. Now to unpack, looking at the Longines Legend Diver. Now, when I would say most people consider the Heritage collection from this brand, most are going to quickly think of this model. It's become a mainstay in the last decade within this collection and is probably one of the best heritage dive watches on the entire market. Another thing going in its favor is it's going to lean into more of a compressor style case. Now, this has become a bit more popular with smaller upstart brands kind of utilizing this, but most of them that are going to be cheaper than this are not going to be on the same level as the Longines Legend Diver. In terms of just the general points of consideration as you're looking at this watch, one of the big things is going to be size. Now, this watch is going to wear all of its 42 millimeters with its proposed diameter, if not a little bit longer when factoring in that lug-to-lug dimension. It can work on, I would say, a medium to larger size wrist. I would definitely just keep in mind your preferred parameters for those just case dimensions. When adapting a bronze case material to a dive watch, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. In this case, because this one's leaning so much into this vintage realm and this compressor style case, this is one of the cleanest and most seamless uses of bronze I have seen on a dive watch. It just really does work with this design. Movement's going to be very reliable on the inside, nice suitable water resistance. I think at the end of the day, you just have to look at this watch for what it is. For medium to larger size wrist that wants a heritage dive watch that's also going to come with a bronze case, you really can't get much better than this Longines Legend Diver for the price. All right, guys, well, thank you again so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That really does help out the channel. Also, if you're in the market for this watch, it is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com. We're a full authorized dealer of all the brands that we carry. Quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, also offer a factory warranty for all the products that we're offering, and 9 out of every $10 that we generate goes right back in the content that we're creating here, as well as on our main channel to try to foster up a new generation of watch enthusiasts in the process. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I'll see you all very soon.